Thank you, Gary, and thank you for everything you've done to help us finish this fight. Next, I'd like to introduce to you Rob Ducali. From his face, I know I said his name wrong. Rob Dakwali. Rob comes to us as an American Cancer Society Voice of Hope. Thank you for being here, Rob.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So my name is Rob Dakwale. I'm a student at Drexel University, and I've got a good bit going on in my life. I moved out here from California. I'm an athlete, I'm a gentleman, I'm a scholar, leader, all that good stuff. But that stuff almost got cut short right around my 18th birthday, and I want to tell you guys a story about that. So it was my senior year of high school. April, everybody's getting ready to graduate. Nobody really cares too much after AP exams are over. I'm sure you guys some of you are in that boat. And I'm sitting in my doctor's office. I'm here for a follow-up for a routine appointment, for a follow-up for a sports injury that I've gotten a couple times before. It's called epididymitis. And it's a 2-week antibiotic run, followed by, the follow-up. I'm sitting there in the follow-up. I'm expecting just come in, get out, everything's good to go. Doctor stops me. He goes, "You need an ultrasound right now." Okay, can it wait? No, you need it right now. 3 hours later, I'm sitting in a urologist's office. I'm sitting there for 3 hours until the end of the day. So I spend my entire day at the doctor's office right now. I'm bouncing around from place to place. And the reason I figure out I'm sitting there for 3 hours, the nurse comes in about an hour and a half in, and she goes, "Dr. Azerjani, he wants to have a very long talk with you. And you can't leave. He's saving you for the last appointment of the day." So I'm sitting there. I have an academic competition coming up that weekend. I was really involved with this program called We the People Competition Civics. It's a long story. But we had our national championships that weekend, and I'm sitting in the room, and I'm just kind of running stuff over in my head. And he walks in and he says, "Based on what we've seen so far, you have a textbook case of testicular cancer. We need to move now." So, fast forward about 15 hours, about an hour away from my house, and I'm on a surgery table, 6 in the morning. Fast forward another 15 hours. I'm getting CT scans, I'm getting blood tests, I'm getting chest x-rays, I'm getting brain MRIs. Fast forward to the day after my 18th birthday. It's my first day of chemo. At the end of the day, I was diagnosed with stage 3A testicular cancer. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's no stage 4 in testicular cancer. Besides having a brain met, meaning that it's traveled up to your brain, that's pretty much as bad as it gets. So it's like Lance Armstrong, but no brain met. It's the easiest way to think about it. And so I was going to have what's called 3 cycles of BEP chemotherapy. Now, it's bleomycin, which some of you guys might know because it's used pretty commonly. Etoposide and cisplatin, which is a platinum-based drug. And they were going to hit me with it. Each cycle was going to be 1 week, 5 hours a day for that week. And then I get some rest time, which just meant I hang out, enjoy myself, and I go in once a week for bleomycin shots. So I went through chemo, and the first thing that a lot of people ask me is they ask me, "What exactly is chemo like?" Sorry, I'm not used to standing around. I don't really stand in one place too often. So they go, "What exactly is chemo like, Rob? How do you define it? Like, what goes into chemo?" And a lot of you guys know, at its best, chemo is just a nuisance. It's just being more careful, staying away from crowds. Every once in a while you get a little bit sick. At its absolute worst, chemo is when you're sitting there at 3 in the morning, everybody else has gone to sleep, but you can't go to sleep because you're uncomfortable. You've had your most intense part of your chemo cycle, and you're bloated, your head hurts, you can't think straight, your legs are too tired to get you to the bathroom even though you want to puke. Your mouth, you can't take anything down because your mouth tastes like metal. That's the worst it gets. So I came up with a definition for chemotherapy, and that's that chemo is essentially a thrill ride. It's a mental thrill ride where you're going to grab onto the handlebars and you're going to do the best you can to cope, but it's going to do pretty much whatever it wants with your body. That's pretty much the bulk of it. And I see one lady in the third row laughing because she's like, yep, that's pretty much what it is. So here's the best part though. You don't have to do it alone. And I figured that out when I started telling my friends. Now, in high school, I had a very close group of about 20 friends, which is weird to say it's 20 people, but we were essentially like a family. We grew up together, we laughed a lot together, we cried a lot together. And when I told them, they didn't really get worried. They reacted the way I wanted them to react, which they actually started what's called Team Rob Strong, which, do many of you guys know Livestrong? This is my band. It's the Rob Strong Band. There are about 30 other like them in the world. They're super special. I have about 3 just in case one of them breaks so that I have them for the rest of my life. And they leapt into action. They were around all the time. They made that summer one of the best of my life. Because I had chemo the entire summer of my 18th, my senior year. My senior year summer, before everybody goes off to college, when everyone's supposed to have a good time. So I actually had a really great time. I had some health scares, but obviously, you're a cancer patient. You're going to have a couple scares. But, they were with me at night after chemo, and we were just hanging out in our room. I remember hanging out in my living room, and they'd come over. I wouldn't really be talking because I'd be tired, but they'd be around. They'd be talking, and they'd be laughing, they'd be having fun, and I'd be smiling because they were around. We went to Great in America. We saw the premiere of Harry Potter 7 Part 2, like that night that it came out, and it was incredible. And I loved having them around because at its worst, the thing that got me through that night, and I'm thinking about one night in particular in case you guys haven't figured out, the thing that got me through that night isn't so much any trick that I picked up, and I picked up a lot of them, I'm sure a lot of us have. It was the fact of knowing that they existed. Because that was critical. My family, my friends, my faith. Like you said, there's a lot to it. That matters. Now, I learned a lot through chemo. I learned a lot through cancer. I'm still learning a lot through it. Survivorship is different. I was an athlete. I lost almost all my muscle mass through chemo. I was a pretty high-level athlete, and watching my body deteriorate in front of me was not very fun. And recovery's been rough. But, so you keep learning these lessons. So I'm one of the lucky ones. I survived. But every year, as all of us know, there are thousands who don't. There are thousands who die, and their stories don't get told. Their legacies aren't left. And that's why I'm thankful for organizations like the American Cancer Society. It's because organizations like the American Cancer Society are fighting to celebrate more birthdays. They're fighting to end that pain. That pain when the doctor looks you in the eye and says, I'm sorry, we did everything we can. It's going to be palliative from here out. That pain where it says, listen, this chemo's just not working. This radiation's just not working. This surgery just didn't work. They're finding the new ways to treat. And that is so huge. Because isn't that why we're here tonight? We're here to celebrate a world with more birthdays. We're here to support a world with more birthdays, with more piano recitals, with more graduations, with more birthday dinners, with more weddings, with more football games. I'm a huge football fan. With more tennis matches, with more squash matches, with more, as you can tell, I'm like way too into sports, but with more art, with more music. We're here to celebrate that. We're here to support that. And together, we're here to fight for that. So, I'm going to ask you all to join me and Gary as we lead the Survivor Lap. It's going to be a great lap. We're all going to walk really strong. Let's do it. Sound good?